taxes went up, spending didn't go down.
He's been called a kingmaker, a patriot, and the ideological godfather of the Tea Party.
I am natural.
Since the mid-'80s, Grover Norquist, the founder of Americans for Tax Reform, has been the driving force behind the anti-tax movement. His goal, to take big government and, in his words, drown it in the bathtub. Norquist's weapon is the Taxpayer Protection Pledge, which was at one point signed by 95% of GOP members of Congress.
When you raise your hand, if you feel so strongly about not raising taxes.
On the campaign trail this year, only one Republican presidential candidate, John Huntsman, dared to cross him. Norquist has clout. He's called the most powerful unelected man in America today. But since the November election, his fortunes have changed.
I will violate the pledge.
A pledge you signed 20 years ago, 18 years ago, is for that Congress.
Well, I'm not obligated on the pledge.
Republicans in Congress are jumping ship and supporting unspecified revenue hikes to help cut the deficit. And big business is now resigned to higher taxes. Here's Goldman Sachs' Lloyd Blankfein.
If we had to lift up the marginal rate, I would do that.
Norquist's response?
To be fair to everybody, some of these people have had impure thoughts. No one has pulled the trigger and voted for a tax increase.
To be sure, Norquist is still raking in big bucks. According to OpenSecrets.org, he shelled out almost $14 million to defeat Democratic opponents in this past election cycle.
We've run ads to let people know who's taken the pledge and who doesn't. We'll do phones into letting people know who's taken the pledge and hasn't.
Norquist's big backers are powerful Republican operatives. Crossroads GPS, the super PAC led by GOP kingpin Karl Rove, and the Center to Protect Patient Rights, closely tied to the ultra-conservative Koch brothers. Those groups account for the majority of the Norquist budget, and there's no sign that they're running scared. Norquist truly believes that the best way to grow the economy is to tame big government. He told me recently he will be vindicated no matter how many politicians break the pledge.
What happens if they break the pledge? Because you've got money behind you. So do you pile on and try and get them defeated in the next election?
These are self-enforcing. Why? Because the American people elect people who they want to reform government rather than raise taxes.
Norquist is clearly looking toward the 2014 midterm elections. But one high-profile figure from the Fix the Debt movement believes that Norquist's clout is clearly waning.
I don't view this as the end of Grover Norquist. I don't think he suddenly disappears and never to be seen of again. But I think his aura of invincibility has been largely shattered.
Grover may not be over just yet, but voters will deal his movement a shattering blow if they become more tolerant of those willing to break the Norquist pledge. Ali Velshi, CNN, New York.